Armageddon Story 2. Hi everyone, since two of my teammates wrote their stories, I will too. I took a long time writing this because I have been quite busy for some time now, and well, I am not really motivated to do so, but well, I will too. For convenience sake, I will codename my teammates TM1, the OP of original story; TM2, writer of Armageddon Story 1; TM3, me. To be honest, there isn't much left to be said that TM1 hasn't already expressed in his posts, so I will just tell you about my experience on the A-Day. My ex had 5 affairs in duration of 4 years. I discovered this because she still had pictures with these other dudes in a hidden folder on a portable hard drive she keeps. She has always kept that drive either at her workplace or with her personal stuff. I honestly didn't even know about this for a long time. And when I did finally discover this hard drive, she just told me it's for her work data, so I didn't really pay much mind to it. Anyway, she kept these pictures and even some screenshots of her texts as some kind of sick trophy. Anyway, her earlier affairs were short-lived. I guess she got bored with them fast, but her last affair with her boss was the longest, 2.3 years. Her boss is a slimy POS who works in his FIL, now ex-FIL's company. His ex-fiancée, who also works at the company, is at a parallel position to him in a different department and different branch of the same company in the same city. She is a cool lady, smart, beautiful, capable, and from what I could tell, extremely loyal. During my investigation, I got a ton of data on the POS and my ex, so about a week before A-Day, I decided to meet with POS's ex-fiancée and inform her all about this affair. I called her at first and asked to meet with her in her office. She obliged. She was already suspecting something was up with POS due to his shady behavior, but never had any solid evidence. She was truly heartbroken. She was crying and was about to immediately call POS to confront him, but I told her not to. I convinced her to gather all the evidence and then nuke him. She agreed. She then called her father and asked him to meet in her office. He came a few hours later. After seeing all the evidence I had, he was also extremely pissed off and immediately wanted to fire him, but we convinced him otherwise. If sufficient evidence can be gathered against him, he won't get any severance and will likely get blacklisted. I then gave POS's ex-fiancée spyware or his cell and laptop, which she agreed to install. The evidence we got from that was even more damning than I previously thought. On the A-Day, I made sure my ex would get home by 6. So I disconnected her from my cell plan and disconnected the Wi-Fi. I then went to ex-in-laws at 6. I met them and told them everything. I told them about the affairs, their duration, and all of the evidence. My ex-Mill tried very hard to make excuses and told me it was a mistake and her daughter was stupid to do such a thing and to give her a second chance, but I firmly shut her down. I told them my mind was made up and there is no second chances for betrayal. She even tried accusing me that I must have been cheating while deployed, and I just looked at her and said I had more important things to do when I was deployed, and don't assume everyone to think like you do. I told her now I get it where my ex got her disgusting habits from. She clammed up tight after that. I left a box of evidence there and went home. I arrived at 8:30. My ex asked about her phone being disconnected as well as internet connection in the home. I just calmly ignored her giving short answers. I set up a camera in the living room as well as voice recorders. My ex kept following me around asking what was I up to. On exactly 9 o'clock, I told my ex to sit down. I went cold and completely expressionless. I was like I was some computer-generated voice devoid of all tones. Then I told her this conversation is being recorded. I know everything about her infidelity, her lies, and her POS. I have all the evidence here and we are getting a divorce. When I said all that, my ex just froze up. She was stunned. She couldn't understand what was happening. For at least 3-4 minutes she just looked at me wide-eyed, stunned. I simply put all the evidence in front of her as well as divorce papers, which I signed in front of her, then took a glass of water. After a while she started looking at the evidence and started trying to explain as a misunderstanding. I told her I am not an idiot and stop, just sign the papers and not make this any more difficult than it has to be. I told her I prefer to keep things amicable and calm, but if she tries any bullshit, I will destroy any hope of her ever having a normal, peaceful life again. She knew this was a serious warning. She then tried to gaslight, blame shift, bargain, and beg in that order. But we already trained ourselves for that crap. I shut her up and told her she has 2 hours to pack her stuff and leave for her parents. Now I essentially left no room for bullshit and excuses. I recorded everything she did around the house and had a buddy on standby just outside the door with the key ready to barge in on a moment's notice. I took her key. They kept crying hysterically as she packed her shit and left in her car. That was the last time I ever communicated directly with her. She has tried a lot of drama through my lawyer, calling for counseling, offering everything, even tried to give me her money. I think she was trying to bribe me, but I didn't respond to anything. She has since been fired, and our divorce is now in the final phase of the mandatory waiting period. Her parents are well off, and she is their only child, so I don't think that's a problem for her. The thing is, she won't stop trying to contact me. She won't stop trying to send me letters through my lawyer and leaving them at my door, trying to call me with new numbers and even involving her friends, even though most of them are disconnecting from her and distancing themselves. She must have left 148 letters at this point, but I just put them away without reading them with the gathered evidence. For some people, final meeting, telling them forgiveness, knowing the whole thing and closure stuff is important, but to me I don't really care about any of that stuff. I know she cheated and betrayed me, that is enough. I don't need any explanation and any excuses. I don't need to know any details. I don't care if it was once or 1,000, the result will be the same: complete removal of this relationship and her from my life. I learned recently that she isn't doing very well with her parents and they have completely stopped talking with her. She just lives in a room at their place and is forbidden from doing anything else at their place, probably because her parents' rep has suffered because of her. As for her AP, his ex-fiancé contacted me and told me she essentially had her own version of a day on the same date with her father present. He was summarily fired, kicked out of her house, and got served with a lawsuit from me and her father's company because of his crap. He had a lot of skeletons in his closet. He's not doing so well these days. And finally, as for me, well, I had a lot of painful times pre and post A-Day, the whole package of suffering, depression, suicidal thoughts, emotional roller coaster, exploding rage, and crippling sadness. But now I am doing fine. I know it will take me years to fully heal, but I will heal. As long as I have my brothers and family, I will heal. We have been overseas these few weeks, but we just got back, currently moving to Texas and loving the new experiences. TM1 even got a new stalker who just won't leave him alone. It's this crazed woman from his previous post. But I am sure she will stop soon enough, because we ain't the kind of guys you'd want to stalk. If you do, you'd soon start getting attention and visits from some really scary people. For everyone going though, this my advice is to keep your head high. Understand the betrayal of your cheating spouse isn't your fault. It never is, not in any circumstance. It's always their own fault. It's the result of their own moral failing that causes this. No matter what excuses they tell themselves, it's always because of their own weakness that they cheat. If someone is unhappy in any way from their relationship, be a decent human being and just end it. Tell your so and work with them to improve your lives. If it doesn't work out, just end it amicably. Don't cheat. If you cheat, it's because you are morally and mentally weak and you are disgusting. Every betrayed spouse should understand that. Sorry BTW for writing all over the place. I am not a good writer.